Live from KTTC News Center at 6, the area's most watched evening news starts now.
Tonight, a better look at the damage 39 tornadoes did to parts of Minnesota. You're looking at one twister that tore through Hollandale last night. Freeborn County took the worst hit, damaging up to some 60 farms. Thanks for joining us. Rachel has the night off. Now, that county is also reporting one fatality after a tornado struck a rural farming community near Albert Lea. Tonight, the family's son spoke to us in the news center. We begin our team's storm coverage tonight with Jennifer Hoff, who is live with more on what the son had to say. Jennifer.
Well, Tom, Corey Sharanzi just lost his mother. Now he's just hoping that his stepfather will survive the injuries he sustained from that tornado. When we met Sharanzi, he and his girlfriend were picking up strewn pennies from the dirt because they said there's simply nothing left to pick up.
It was what they did. You get change, you throw it in a change jar.
Picking up pennies once in a change jar, now embedded in dirt, Jolene Mortensen tries to salvage what little is left of her friend's farm.
It's something to do because there's nothing else. There's nothing else to clean up.
What's worse is Mortensen's boyfriend's mother is the tornado's only fatality that tore through the rural town of Armstrong, west of Albert Lea, around 7 Thursday night.
My ex-wife shows up and says, "You need to get to the hospital now." And I was still kind of half out of it, and we got to the hospital, and you know something's wrong when it's the pastor that greets you.
Sharanzi says his mother is 67-year-old Kathy Woodside, who lived in a farmhouse for 17 years that once stood on this very property.
She grew up on a farm, so this was perfect for her.
She lived with her husband Ron, who survived the storm with broken ribs and is now recovering at St. Mary's Hospital in Rochester, according to his stepson.
Said that he also had possibly broken arms and broken legs. 9
tornadoes tore through Freeborn County, destroying nearly everything in their paths. But tonight, there's something to be said for what was not.
Well, this is physical. My concern more is with my stepdad.
And tonight, storm damage survey teams from the National Weather Service have not yet been able to confirm or release the size of that tornado that blew through Armstrong and other parts of Freeborn County Thursday evening. For now, reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Jennifer Hoff.
Now, the devastation left behind from last night's tornadoes is simply stunning. And News Center's Chris Conti spent the day in hard-hit Blooming Prairie. He continues our team coverage live now with really an incredible rescue story. Chris.
Tom, it's hard to believe, but at one point, this mess behind me here was Judy Kohler's home. What's even more incredible, in the middle of the night as that rain was pouring down, police officers pulled her out from underneath this rubble. Luck is the underlying theme of this story.
We started yelling for anybody. If you can hear us, say something.
Sergeant Mark Lang is lucky he somehow spotted Julie Kohler's hand buried beneath her collapsed house.
Sheer luck that we spotted her waving her hand.
Judy's son James is simply lucky that his mom is still alive.
You can replace all this crap, but not her.
As tornadoes barreled through parts of Blooming Prairie last night, Judy James tried to find shelter somewhere in her home, but there was nowhere safe to hide.
After 40 years of living here, it's gone.
Through a pounding rain, Sergeant Lang and another deputy tried to get to Judy. Their rescue efforts slowed by downed power lines and debris.
When we did get there, we could only barely get into the driveway with power lines down.
And that's where luck came in.
We happened to catch a glimpse of her hand, and that was about it, waving through debris.
With gas leaking from a nearby propane tank and storms still on top of them, Lang and his partner finally managed to pull Judy out from beneath the rubble.
I would say it was 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes before the ambulance could finally get to us just from debris and trying to make their way out to us.
Throughout this hard-hit area, there are countless different stories of survival, all connected by one word.
Luck. Sometimes a little bit of luck goes a long way.
Now, Judy's son was out here earlier. He says there's not much that's been salvageable from this mess. This evening, Judy remains in critical condition at St. Mary's Hospital in Rochester. What's even more sad about this situation, this house behind me here, what's left of Judy Kohler's home, this is the same scene we've seen all throughout these counties all afternoon. Live in Blooming Prairie, Chris Conti, KTTC News Center.
Absolutely, so much devastation. Randy Brock joins us. And Randy, so far the count is 40 tornadoes that touched down in Minnesota, almost 40 yesterday.
Nearing that, Tom. Yeah, I think it's in the upper 30s right now. And that number is going to maybe be whittled down a bit. So we're talking reports, and now we're having National Weather Service crews out in the fields surveying the situation and confirming the numbers and seeing if there are conflicting reports of maybe the same tornado. But the great news is, Tom, is that while everybody's cleaning up from the horrible mess from yesterday's tornadoes, we are all quiet right now across southeast Minnesota and North Iowa. Thunderstorms not too long ago rolling through parts of North Iowa. Very heavy rains affecting many south of Mason City, getting closer to Ames and Des Moines, and there are watches in effect. There are flash flood warnings for many in the Waterloo area and down to the southeast. And closer to home, things are looking a lot quieter back into southeastern Minnesota. There is still a cold front stretching from northwest Wisconsin down to southwest Minnesota. There have been some clouds bubbling up along that front, but no storms have developed quite yet. We have sunshine now in much of southeast Minnesota, especially from Rochester to Austin into Albert Lea. Things have quieted down. You don't see it here quite yet, but there is a very thin line of cloud cover showing up on the satellite picture, but you can see it from our Sooklaw from Skycam right here on Signal Hill. Very small clouds and no thunderstorms have formed out of this yet. There is a very slim chance we might have a brief thunder shower this evening, but the best news of all is that things are pretty much wrapped up. Temperatures are comfortable. There's a honkers game. We'll have your honkers cast in a little bit. We have more sunshine and a pleasant Father's Day weekend ahead, so we'll be talking about that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you very much, Randy. Well, the National Weather Service is now confirming that the damage in the northwest part of Rochester was indeed a tornado. And News Center's Crystal Loco joins us live with our continuing team coverage. Crystal.
Well, Tom, yeah, I was here last night as a tornado had ripped through this area. It was hard to see the real extent of the damage here in the northwest area, but the daylight has showed much, much more. Now, officials say the tornado damaged about 75 homes in a 5-block area of northwest Rochester. 10 homes suffered extensive damage, and a number of them are in this townhome community. Now, today, this neighborhood is busy with contractors who are boarding up shattered windows, cleaning up debris, and removing down trees.
We got up and just saw, I mean, just like a war zone. Just all the debris and all the damage and everything.
Now, no doubt it'll be a rebuilding process here in this northwest neighborhood, and while there was a lot of damage, folks here say they're just happy that no one was hurt. Reporting live in northwest Rochester, I'm Crystal Loco.
Thank you, Crystal. Well, coming up next, as morning broke in areas hit hard by those tornadoes, more and more damage is discovered, as we see in the footage there. We're going to take you to Alden, Minnesota, after this break.
The KTTC News Center continues with Tom Overlake, Rachel Wick, your precision forecast with Randy Brock, and sports with Pat Lund. The people you know, the news you trust.
Well, last night's tornadoes damaged a number of farms in Freeborn County. News Center's Carrie Klatt takes us to the small community of Alden.
We are in the Alden area just west of Albert Lea. The National Guard has been activated to this area. They're controlling who can come in and out of what is one of the worst hit places after last night's tornado. Officials say the storms destroyed between 50 and 60 farms. There are hundreds of poles down, power lines down. There have also been reports of natural gas leaks. Crews have been out since last night repairing those leaks and the down power lines. Many farm families in the Alden area have lost their homes, their barns, animals are unaccounted for, and for families like Bob Hansen's, this is just an absolute mess. These were the steps leading up to Bob Hansen's home. This is his basement. There's no house because the house has now been moved over there.
It's so great that people will come out and help, you know, without being asked, you know. Everybody's just been calling and saying, what can we do? What can I bring you? So it's a community thing. Hansen and his wife and 2 daughters are okay, as good as you can be in this situation. The Hansens, like so many farm families in this area, are just left today picking up the pieces and are just thankful to be alive. In Alden, Carrie Klatt, KTTC News Center.
We wish those families all the best.